In 1969, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross published 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. That framework has shaped how we talk about loss for 50 years. But modern grief research has found something important. Most people don't move through those stages in order or experience them at all. The most common trajectory after significant loss is resilience, not acute breakdown followed by stage recovery, but grief integrated alongside continued functioning. This video is about what grief actually looks like and how to move through it without getting stuck. The brain processes grief in many of the same regions that process physical pain: the anterior cingulate cortex, the insula, and the prefrontal cortex. Loss activates social pain systems alongside meaning-making circuits. What neuroscience tells us: grief is not a disorder to be cured. It is a reorganization process, the mind restructuring around the absence of someone central to your world. Continuing bonds theory, developed by Dennis Class, proposes that maintaining an inner relationship with the deceased, through memory, ritual, and meaning, is not pathological avoidance. It is adaptive integration. The goal of healthy grieving is not to let go. The goal is to carry the loss forward in a way that allows life to continue. The dual process model of grief, developed by Strobe and Schutt, is one of the most clinically useful frameworks in modern grief research. It identifies 2 necessary orientations: loss orientation, facing the grief, the pain, the absence directly and fully; restoration orientation, rebuilding life, identity, and future beyond the loss. Healthy grieving oscillates between these 2. You move toward the grief and then back toward daily life, then toward the grief again. Suppression, never going toward the pain, produces prolonged grief. But continuous immersion in loss without attending to restoration also keeps people stuck. The skill is to allow both: grieve when you grieve and build when you build. The oscillation is not avoidance. It is integration. 3 practices supported by grief research: narrative processing, writing or speaking the story of the loss and what it means, reduces grief intensity and promotes integration. Not venting. Meaning making. What did this person mean in my life, and what does their absence change? Continuing bonds rituals, visiting a place, cooking their recipe, writing them a letter. Research shows continuing bonds are associated with better outcomes when they are flexible and internalized, held lightly rather than as desperate preservation. And finally, allow the oscillation. A good day is not betrayal of the person you lost. A hard day 6 months from now is not regression. Grief is not linear. It is layered, and it changes shape over time rather than disappearing. About 10% of bereaved people develop prolonged grief disorder, grief lasting more than 12 months that significantly impairs daily functioning. This is diagnosable and treatable with specific grief-focused therapy. If grief is preventing you from working, maintaining relationships, or caring for yourself more than a year after the loss, that is an indication to seek professional support. For most people, grief naturally integrates over time. The loss becomes woven into who you are, not something you got over, but something you grew around. You do not need to be the same person you were before. In some important ways, you cannot be. Grief changes us. The question is whether we allow it to change us towards something.